With paid ads, if you are trying to be really salesy, car salesman, flashy, you're probably not going to have great results. Sales doesn't have to be grimy, doesn't have to be slimy, doesn't have to be scheming. You don't need a huge budget for this. You can do this on $5 a day. I have clients that tell me all the time, Alex, I don't know what you're doing, but people are stopping me while I'm grocery shopping. They're saying, hey, I know you. You're that person that does credit. If you do a good job at that, you'll have people that are excited to sign up with you.
Hey, credit heroes. What if I told you the number one thing holding back your credit repair business, it isn't the disputes. No, it's the marketing. Think about it. You could be the best in the world at fixing credit, but if you don't have a steady flow of clients walking through your door, you are stuck. But here's the exciting part. Our guest today cracked that code. He helped to build a multi-seven-figure credit repair empire, helped over 30,000 clients, and mentored hundreds of entrepreneurs. And he did it with just one thing, a simple ad strategy that works. And the craziest part, he is here today, and he's going to show you step by step how to launch your very first paid ad in under 1 hour. So please welcome to the podcast, Alex Rocha. Hey, Alex.
Okay, Daniel, thanks for having me. Hey, Keenan, thanks so much.
Before we dive into your ad formula, I want to know more about you. Where'd you grow up, and where are you now?
I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas. I'm still here today. This is my hometown. I love this place. I have been involved in digital marketing for a pretty long time. It started probably in my early 20s until here in my mid 40s. I've been just obsessed with it, right? When I find something that I really have a unique interest in, I go all in. I want to go under every rock, every crevice. And so I really, really enjoy helping people to really move the needle, gain progress, and avoid the obstacles that I came across.
And how'd you get into helping credit repair businesses?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, right around my 30s, I got tired of my old job. It was hours and hours of work every week, 80 hours plus, and I had no life, and I wanted some more work-life balance. And so a buddy of mine had a credit repair company, and he said, hey, do you know anybody who's looking for a job? And I said, you know what? I'm looking for a change in industries. I just want to get out of this. He said, well, come work for me and we'll figure it out. It was 4 of them in a room, right? And so I joined the team, and I started using my social network and saying, hey, you guys need credit repair, let me know. And he said, you're really good at marketing. You should be our marketing guy because we're not really good at that. I said, sure, no problem. I'll do that. So I said, well, you guys aren't really online. Let's start there. Let's figure that out. And so I learned how to build a website. I learned social media. And then I found paid ads. And then he said, here's budget. It's not a lot, right? It's a couple $100. Let's see what you can do. And I used that budget for about 6 months to tinker and totter and dial levers and research and learn. And then we found the winning formula that works. And boom, our lead flow was just consistent. And with that comes growth. We took that 4 people in a room to over 100 employees, 20,000 clients, and about $6 million in revenue at our peak, right? And that was right before COVID hit.
Wow, that's amazing growth. That's really, really incredible. And then you started helping other credit repair businesses.
Yeah, so as you know, once you're in the credit repair industry, you get to know other credit repair people. You go to the conferences, you rub shoulders, and then people want to know, what are you doing? We're seeing you guys growing. How are you doing that? Can you teach us how to do it? And I love to help people. I love to help people overcome obstacles and challenges. I like to help them solve problems. So that's kind of where that started, right? Where, why don't you put together some YouTube videos, some training? So I did. And then more people came knocking on the door. And today I've helped some of the biggest players in credit repair implement these strategies.
Very, very cool. I think we should start getting tactical, because you promise our listeners you show them how to launch an ad in under an hour. So are you ready to break it down for us?
I'm completely ready.
Okay, cool.
So before I open up the hood and show you where to click and things like that, let's cover some of the basics, right? So with paid ads, you have to understand that people are on social media, not particularly searching for a solution. So the first thing they're going to see is your ad, right? And If you are trying to be really salesy, car salesman, flashy, you're probably not going to have great results. However, if you give them a tip, give them an idea, or just address their problem and then steer them towards a solution and offer help, then you'll have more success, right? So if you just put up a graphic that says, credit repair sale, DM us now, whatever, you're going to have very poor results, right? But if your video speaks to them about their frustrations and struggles, and then you introduce yourself as someone who has some experience or some results, and that you would love to help them if they're interested to send you a DM, right? You're going to have way better results. So that's first of all. Second of all, you don't need a huge budget for this, right? You can do this on $5 a day, right? There's companies that do $5 a day as they're growing, and then there's other companies that are more enterprise level. They're spending, thousands a day. It just kind of depends on where you are. It all works. The problems obviously get bigger as you scale, but for beginners, $5 a day is more than enough, especially if you're just targeting your city, which I highly recommend. Become the local celebrity for your service. It's so simple with ads. I have clients that tell me all the time, Alex, I don't know what you're doing, but people are stopping me while I'm grocery shopping. They're saying, hey, I know you. You're that person that does credit. And so, plain and simple, it works. So now that we know that we need a decent creative and that we don't need a huge budget, how do we put it together? That's just an example account. We run some tests on things like that. You won't see these things here. You'll see a brand new account. If you don't have a Facebook ad account, you can just go to business.facebook.com and follow the prompts and sign up. Once you're done, you should see something like this. Once you're here, you can hit create. You're going to have to select an objective, right? And if you hover over these, it gives you sort of a brief overview of what they are. Most people think leads, that's what I want. That's what I'm clicking on. I don't recommend that. Not at first. This is a great phase 2 of your ads. Phase 1 is engagement. Why engagement? Engagement is one of the cheapest segments of Facebook ads to target, right? Because we just want them to DM you, right? A DM is a micro commitment. A lead form is a more of a commitment, especially to people that never have met you before, that never seen you, they don't know you exist. You can get people to fill out a form, but your conversions might be a little lower because you don't have a relationship established with them. Engagement is great because it opens up the ability to have a conversation with them and really get to know what their issue is, what challenges are they facing, what are their goals, what are their dreams, what would they like to do, and then through there you can sign them up as a client and then get on the phone with them afterwards, right? Being TSR compliant. Lead form, they're expecting you to call them. However, we both know that there's some compliance issues with that, right? So why don't we stay nice and compliant while keeping our ad costs down? Okay. So we're going to select engagement here. It's going to ask you, do you want a tailored messages campaign or a manual engagement campaign? I recommend tailored for beginners because it really kind of just automatically checks all the best practices for you. It makes it super easy. Facebook's really trying to make ads super easy for users to launch. So this is a great place to start. So we're going to hit continue. And then you're going to name your campaign, whatever it is. I'll just name this example campaign. Here's a very important part. Because of the type of industry you're in, you're going to want to label your ads as a special ad category. Special ad category does have some restrictions on your targeting, but it's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean you're going to have bad leads or anything like that. It just kind of takes away some of the things you could target if you're a financial product, which technically we are. So we're going to hit financial products and services. Then you're going to select your page. I'm going to select my agency here just for this demonstration. Select your Facebook page. If you don't have your Facebook page and your Instagram page connected, it'll walk you through on how to do that. You just follow the prompts on here. But once you are, you should see something like this. These are the destinations where people can DM you. You're going to set your budget. Like I say, you could do $5 per day. It's not a problem. It's going to make recommendations. Do not feel free or feel like you need to or pressure to follow these recommendations. They're just in general. I've seen people get results from this with just a lower budget, just fine. Custom audience we're not going to do, but we are going to target our location. So I'm going to put Houston, Texas. That's where I live. And there we go. So now it's switched from United States to Houston, Texas, and I can see that my estimated audience size is about almost 4 million people. Because I'm a special ad category, I cannot target by age. It's got to be wide open, which is fine. It's no big problem. Detailed targeting is where I can implement more targeting. So something I like to do is like, well, what does my business relate to? Well, it's related to credit. So let me type in credit, and I can see all these targeting options. So these are people that have, through their behavior on Facebook, are put in different buckets. So I can see that there's people that are interested in credit cards. Select that. I can see there's people interested in credit finance. That's another option. I want to fill this up from maybe about 3 to 5 interests. Okay. One I like a lot is financial services. These are people looking for different types of financial services. So credit repair being one of those. Once I have that, I can select next here. And this is where I will create my ad. So just example, ad one. I recommend unchecking multi-advertiser ads. I've seen better performance with that off. What that means is that they'll show your ad next to 3 different ads. To me, that's just kind of too much, right? So too many things going on. I don't think people will resonate with just that by itself. So, together. So instead, let's just run our ads on their own. Then we're going to set up our creative. You can then select an image or a video, whatever have you. Remember, I said, create your ad. I'm just going to use an image for now. I don't have a video to show.
To add a question in there around the creative, like if someone's creating their very first ad, like what's that golden ad? What's like the first thing that they...
Great. A great ad, number one, is not trying to be salesy. However, they address a problem. And Facebook ad compliance, which I'll get to here a little bit more here in text, but to give you a brief summary, as long as I'm not calling out a negative attribute about the reader, and I'm generic with my language, then I am compliant. So I can't say, do you have bad credit? Do you get denied for loans? You're walking a very risky line there. Instead, I say, for anyone that has credit challenges, for anybody that has been denied home loans, I have one piece of advice for you, right? So we're keeping the verbiage very open. You don't want to attack personal attributes, right? So as long as you do that, you're in compliance with Facebook. They are completely okay with credit repair as an industry on their platform, so you don't have to worry about that. There's some myths out there that Facebook doesn't want that. I've been running ads for a very long time for a whole bunch of different people. They really don't mind at all, as long as you're staying compliant with their advertising policies. Now, where do you create that ad? You can use Canva. There's lots of templates. You just type in Facebook ad, and you're going to find a lot of really nice pre-made templates. I highly recommend shooting your own videos with your camera phone, just you in your office. Hey, my name's Keenan. I'm over here in St. Louis, Missouri. Listen, for anybody that's had credit challenges, that feels like they're just kind of stuck with their scores and they can't get ahead and they may want to buy a home or get a business loan. Listen, I know what that's like. I help tons of clients in Missouri that have those same challenges. If you look me up, I've got tons of great ratings and reviews. I am looking for my next 15 clients in Missouri. I have a special promotion going on, and you insert your promotion, whatever that might be. I love to have a chat with you and see if I'm a good fit. There's no obligation. Just send me a DM and we can get started. That's a perfect ad right there. And then you just kind of change your shirt a few times, change your location a few times, and because you never know what's going to catch somebody's attention as they're scrolling social media. A lot of people have success with just holding up their cat or their dog in the video, or maybe they're in a unique place. Like in Houston, if I'm in front of NRG Stadium, or if I'm in front of Daikin Park, then that's going to, hey, that's Houston, right? And they may stop, right? So the video part takes a little more effort, but the reward is that much greater. That doesn't mean that images can't work or won't work. They can, but I see a greater return on video ads, particularly if you put captions in there, because 80% of people viewing mobile videos have it with the sound off. So make sure your videos have captions.
And Alex, do you have any recommendations for an app people might use to record that video that will also put captions on?
Yeah, there's a CapCut. It's free. You can do it on your phone or you can do it on your desktop. That's the most popular one. Yeah, you just upload your video. It'll analyze your dialogue and inject captions on the video for you. And you can export it and then use it in your ads. Canva also has some things, but it's a little more tricky, but it's free also. So those are great tools that they can use. Awesome. Well, so once you have your creative in here, you can crop it. I recommend not cropping it in weird ways that don't look good, right? It's particularly if the image, do it original if it doesn't quite make sense. You could upload a different variation. See, I have replace here. I can upload a 9:16 version, and I can upload a 1.9:1 over here if I wanted to. Primary text, again, my favorite tool of all time that just got developed, ChatGPT, right? I can go to ChatGPT and says, hey, help me develop some Facebook ad copy. This is what I do. This is who I am. And my objective is to get them to message my page. ChatGPT will help you come up with a nice Facebook ad copy text. You may edit it to your liking, add some emojis, add some flair. You would paste it here. And the headline is chat and messenger, which is fine. Or you can say, message me now. Then it's going to give you these Advantage Plus creative enhancements. Facebook likes to test different things for you, so you don't have to do these tests manually. I've seen similar results with it on or off. You can leave them on. You can turn them off. It's up to you. But I don't see any harm in it, testing those things out for you. So once you have that, the last thing you're going to do is edit your greeting. Okay, this is going to be when they click the ad and say send message, you can see message me now points here. This is the first thing they're going to see. And so I like to take off too many options because it's kind of overwhelming. Just a simple question like, hi, thanks for messaging me. What's your biggest goal for your scores? Right? Or something similar like that. So when they hit the button, this is the first thing they see and they reply. And then I can just look at my mobile app on my phone, see the replies, and engage in a conversation there. I also like the follow-up message. So after a day, it'll ask them, hey, I noticed you didn't reply. Did you have any questions? So you have a short window to where you can message people once they message your page. It's a 24-hour window. They limit that purposely so they, we as marketers don't spam a bunch of people's Facebook Messenger inboxes. So we have a 24-hour window to message them. So before that window is up, it'll just kind of remind them, hey, notice you didn't interact. Maybe you pressed accidentally, but if not, I'm here to help. And so you'll see your conversations begin to build up in your inbox. And from there, you can take your steps forward for TSR compliance, right? You can briefly talk about their goals, their circumstances, ask them where their scores are, and then say, well, look, this is who I am. This is what I offer. Would you be interested in signing up as a client? Then we can have a conversation on the phone and dig deeper into your profile, right? I think that's a pretty easy, straightforward campaign and allows a lot of opportunities for you.
You mentioned for a lot of people, starting at $5 a day is great. So that if you're spending $5 a day for 30 days, that's about $150 a month. What would someone on average, from what you're seeing in the market, typically get in terms of number of messages, number of leads coming in from this simple type of campaign?
Yeah, definitely. Great question. So I would say 1 to 2 out of every 10 messages should result in a consultation. And then from there, it just kind of depends on the person's skill set with sales. After they've, enrolled them they've established that client relationship. But yeah, about 1 or 2 out of every 10 results in a very serious interest. Some people will come back later. They just want some information. They just want to kind of get an idea. And they may go off and do their own research and come back to you a little bit later. That happens a lot as well.
And what are you typically seeing in the number of leads that someone could generate? Let's say someone spends $150 this next month, spending $5 a day. Or how many leads are you typically seeing?
So what's going to affect that, the biggest lever in that equation is your creative. I see some people getting $1 per message, and I see other people getting, $5 to $10 per message. And the more creative that you test, the more you're going to dial in what's working. And then that way you can really triple down on those creatives that work. You might find one that's getting you $1 per message. And so you're saying, this is the one right here. So let me bump it up to $10 a day, $20 a day, right? And what's great about Facebook, there's a setting where you can scale your ad budget, because every time you increase your ad budget, the algorithm has to kind of recalibrate. So big jumps take longer to settle. And so they have the option to incrementally increase your budget so that you don't see such a disruption in your performance.
Got it. And are there any key things that you see that cause someone's ad to be that higher cost per lead?
Yeah, it's
common things that you see people fail with in terms of.
Yeah, it's going to be they use those generic flash sale graphics, and they use those. You're really going to have a tough time with that because you're not connecting with the person. You're not addressing their frustrations, their problems, their fears, their anxieties. You're not helping them visualize a different future where they have the ability to get approved for a home loan, or get a business loan, or access higher credit limits, or just live a cheaper lifestyle, because we know that credit does affect a lot of things in their life.
What might be called UGC content, user-generated content, that's a real human being, that they don't want to look like they're talking to some faceless company.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to be yourself, right? That's what people are going to buy into. If you pride yourself on results, and that's like your thing, your North Star, and that will then say, hey, I am all about getting results. I can't make any promises or guarantees. But if you want somebody that's obsessed with results, and that's me, right? Somebody else may be obsessed with just giving them a pleasant experience and educating the client. I have a client that's in St. Louis, Missouri, and he is not like the most out there social media character. He's very reserved. However, he takes his time with each and every client to really assess their situation and give them absolute clarity. And every time he hangs up with someone on the phone, they're just above and beyond with him, because nobody has done that before, to sit there with them and really give them advice and guidance and feedback that really applies to their circumstances. Real quick, moving on, you just hit publish, and the Facebook ad automation will automatically review your ad within about 24 to 48 hours. You should see some results. You should see your ad live, and then within about a day or two after that, you start seeing conversations pop up. And the main thing you want to look at is your cost per result when you come back in here. If you're seeing it really high, don't freak out initially it's high, because it's brand new. It needs to circulate a little bit. Circulate. Once it's been through about 1,000 to 2,000 impressions, which you would see reach, about 1,000 reach, 2,000 reach, then you can start making adjustments. Let me try a new creative or a different ad copy. Let me change the location of the background of my video. Then you can launch a new ad. So really, reach and cost per result are going to be your main drivers of your decisions. Am I getting a good cost per result? No. Okay, what's my reach like? If my reach is like under 1,000, then I need to let it circulate a little bit longer. Because you really want to make sure you have at least 1,000 people see your ad before you make any major decisions.
And should people expect to, as they're getting started for the first time doing this, should they expect some of their ads to get rejected in the first phases? And what's that process like?
Usually that's because you violated a Facebook advertising policy. And typically with this industry is the verbiage in the video or the text where you're highlighting a negative attribute about them. Also, another thing that can get your ad disapproved is if you have text in your image that says click here or download now. Like, you don't want any kind of buttons. You just, a little bit of text and some imagery will work just fine. Now you're going to have opportunity score here. If you click there, it's going to give you some advice. You can follow it, no problem, but I would take it with a grain of salt because sometimes it just doesn't apply to your objective. And that's how you launch an ad account. Literally, you can get going in under an hour.
Yeah, you did all that in less than 15 minutes. That was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I know what I'm clicking around inside.
Well, and you really explained it well. That's an interface that I've always been intimidated by.
Yeah.
When I start clicking in there, it's scary. And we've had ads shut down and we've lost our ad accounts. Mm-hmm. How do you know how far you can go with your ads? How do you know what all their rules are?
Perfect. Great question. So you're going to want to Google Facebook advertising policies. Now, you could spend 3 hours reading all of the legalities of it, or give it to ChatGPT and say, hey, here's my business. Here's what I offer. What do I need to avoid? Where should I ensure that I'm not doing to ensure that my ads aren't flagged and then my account doesn't get closed? And they will naturally walk you through that.
That's a great idea.
What I was wondering is, when you get someone running and let's say they start spending $5 a day on ads. So they're spending $150 a month on ads. They're getting all these DMs for conversations to get started. What's like the next milestone for someone once they've started to get some creatives that work, some ads that work? What are the next 2 or 3 milestones that you recommend people get to getting this more dialed in, to getting more results?
Yeah, after they've done that, a really good place to experiment would be, then you can experiment with your lead gen advertisements. And then you could probably set up either manually or set up a chatbot to SMS people and walk them through the same conversation, because the more channels you market people in, the higher your success rate is going to be. So if you're only on Messenger, you're going to miss out the SMS repliers. You're going to miss out the email repliers. So you want to kind of spread it out as much as you can. So the next phase would probably be a lead generation one, and then having your systems and automation send them SMS messages and either manually replying or using an AI chatbot automation.
And what do you see have the most success once they've gotten all these DM conversations? Like, what are the tactics, tips and tricks of like how to actually have a conversation with that lead over?
Now we're digging into my second favorite topic, which is sales. Sales, it doesn't have to be grimy. It doesn't have to be slimy. It doesn't have to be schemy. Just generally want to help that person before you offer any kind of service or product. Get to know them, get to know what their frustrations are, get to know what their aspirations are, what have they tried before and what did they dislike about that thing that they tried, and what would they like that would be different. That's going to give them feedback on where that person is mentally in this decision buying process. You'll find that as long as you walk people through these thoughts, they're actually going to say, you know what? Well, how much is it for you to just handle this for me? It sounds like you know the answer. It sounds like that's a great question. So let me walk you through how this works. Technically, I have to sign you up on a client business relationship. So you would go here, fill out some information, and don't worry. We don't charge anything right away. We'll have a conversation over the phone after this step is complete. And see if you're a good fit. And if you're a good fit, then we'll rock and roll and get you started. And if you do a good job at that, you'll have people that are excited to sign up with you. If you find them apprehensive or their guard is up, then all that means is they need more information. Okay. And so just ask more questions. Right. Well, what exactly are you looking for? Maybe I can point you in the right direction if it's not me. Right. I'm not trying to pressure you into any sales, just trying to help. If you have that sort of mentality, you're going to find it to get easier and easier and easier to get people to say, absolutely, you're the person to help me.
Now, how about for the people who say, I've tried ads before and they didn't work? How do you diagnose what actually went wrong?
Well, the first thing I look at is their creative. What were they using? That's the biggest lever. It's going to be, okay, well, typically when I do an audit on somebody's like ad account, I'll see that they've tested maybe 3 ads or 4. And that's just not with meta ads. You have to test, I would say a nice North Star to follow would be between 10 and 20 ads before you really start to get traction, right? If you get an ad off the first try that just performs, you are in the elite of ad creation. Ad creation is a skill set in itself that anybody can do. Okay. Don't be intimidated by it. Just understand that, think of it like a painting. Okay. So you need to paint a new picture every time. And that could be as simple as changing the color of your shirt, wearing a different hat, holding up a stuffed animal, holding up your dog, changing the scenery in the background of your ad. Go to the kitchen, go to the living room, go to the coffee break room, go outside, right? There's great little mics that you can buy that attach wirelessly to your phone, and they're like $10, and you can have great audio. Just clip it right here and say, have your buddy record you. Like, hey, I'm over here in so-and-so community. These are some amazing homes that people have for sale. However, if you're like a lot of people, you get stopped because you may have less than perfect credit. So just make a story up about wherever you're at, right? And just keep playing with it. As you continue to do it, you'll find that you get better and better and better and better at it. And then you start understanding what is resonating with people. You know what? When I do this or say this, or when the subject matter is this, people are just damning me like crazy. And so you get excited because you found your niche, you found your topic, or whatever it is that's getting you results.
And you've tested so many campaigns. What's one targeting angle or ad format that really surprised you with how well it worked?
Surprise me would be the offer. Okay. We've had some highly produced ads in the past. Trust me, we spent the dollars. Highly produced ads didn't perform well. Shot one on a webcam. The CEO was like, you know what? We're going to launch this crazy offer. Responses like crazy on a very cheaply made ad. You just never know what's going to work. I say don't overthink it, and don't spend too much money trying to create ads. Create ugly ads. Create 20, 30 ugly ads. Think of different offers you can put out there, because people love a great deal, especially if they're brand new customers, right? You could do, whatever makes sense for your business, a percentage off or a freebie or an additional add-on, whatever you think works to help bring people in the door. Much like, furniture places, they'll have crazy deals to get people in the door. Car dealerships have crazy deals to get people in the door. Just bring new customers in the door, serve them extremely well on the back end, and you'll be very happy with yourself and your business and how it's growing.
Alex, what offers have you seen work the best?
Yeah, couples discount. So like if it's a husband and wife or a partner and partner, and they both have credit challenges, say buy one, get one free, BOGO, something around that works really well. 50% off all first fees or first month fees, or however you structure your business. 1 month free, right? They can say your first month's free, test us out. If you like us, stay with us. If not, no big deal, right? $1 to get started, things like that. And you can kind of find a nice middle ground that makes sense for your business, but that would also be enticing for new customers. Think Groupon, right? Groupon has really great deals all the time. That's how they get people in the door, and they get people coming back for massages or chiropractors. They just want a loss leader on the front end, and then they retain that client for however long the LTV is.
Got it. And are you putting any of these offers in the ad copy itself?
Yeah. If you have an offer, you definitely want it to be one of the main points of your creative and the ad copy. And you can say, oh, very important if you're targeting just your city and your ad copy, you want to say attention Houstonians, attention Dallas residents, attention wherever you're from, so that as people scroll, they can see that it's for them in their city. And then in there, you may want to introduce yourself, give them a possible solution, say, by the way, I'm doing 50% off for all new clients this month. Let's see if it's a good fit for you. Send me a message.
What are the key metrics that a credit repair business owner should watch to know if their ads are working?
Great question. Number one, you want to make sure it's circulating, that it's spending money, right? If it's not, then you may want to adjust your targeting. A lot of people kind of rush through the ad process. I say take your time, read every section, and you'll notice that they may have inputted some settings they didn't intend to, and that affected the ability for the ad to deliver. So that's number one. Number two is going to be, so if it's spending money, are you getting messages? That's the biggest, easiest way. Am I getting DMs? Because you'll see your pre-made message and you'll see them reply, right? Great. If you are, awesome. Next metric you want to look at is how much is this costing me per message? If it's under $5, I think you're in a pretty good place. If it's over that, you may either A, want to allow it to circulate a little bit more so you can see what the true data is going to look like, or you may want to issue out some new ad tests. You may want to turn that ad off and launch a new one. I would say when you launch these ads, do 2 or 3 at a time in a lower budget. As you have bigger budgets, you can launch more at a time. Say it's a $10 per day budget. You could do 5 to 8 ads that you launch initially, and because if you have too many ads in a small budget, then each one's going to circulate for like a couple of people, right? So you want, with a $5 per day budget, you want to have about 2 or 3 that you're testing, and that's the max, so that all of them can have a good chance to circulate. After that, I would say a click-through rate is a good place to look at. Which ads are getting the highest clicks, all right? And that'll help you see which ones are resonating with people.
A lot of people in the credit repair business, they don't want just leads too. They also want people that are motivated to actually get the service, motivated to buy, and not just like a tire kicker, someone that's just exploring or not really willing to spend a lot of money, and they're a painful client. So is there anything you do in the process to help people get high value clients that are going to be less of a tire kicker?
So a high value client is going to have things they look for that are different than somebody looking for a budget solution. Think of it as Walmart's, Target, Whole Foods. They all sell groceries, but they all cater to different demographics of shoppers. So think about yourself. Where do I want to play? I'm a big fan of the Target, right? I don't want to be the cheapest, and I don't want to scare people off with way too high fees. I think Target's a great place to be. So what do they want? They want good quality. They want good service. They want results, especially if you have proof and testimonials and reviews that really back up your claims of that you're great at what you do. That's really going to help you attract the target-minded shopper. If you want the Whole Foods shopper, they're going to want an elite experience. They're going to want somebody who really knows what they're doing, maybe like a celebrity version of a credit repair person. So there's a lot of social media influencers out there that are, credit repair celebrities, and people will pay money just to work with them because in their mind, they see that they are the best. So that person can justify charging a very high price. Now, if you're doing a Walmart demographic, there's nothing wrong with that. Just understand that you're going to have people that are on a budget. They want a good solution, but you're going to have to do volume to make decent money, right? You're going to have to really pump out a lot of clients. However, that comes with its own problems, right? Because you may have a high churn rate because you can't service as many people as well. So that's why I'm a big fan of the target method. I like target demographic because you're just in the middle.
What do you see that people do when they're writing their ad copy or whatnot that caused them to attract that?
I'm the cheapest on the block. Nobody can outdo my pricing. And then you're going to attract, if you're out, think of yourself outdoors with a megaphone saying, hey, this is practically free. Come and get it. Yeah, you're going to have a bum rush of people that are looking for that really cheap deal. But if you are someone that that doesn't advertise that, you're more results based or experience based, and you talk about those things in your ad copy and your ad, then those people will resonate with you. Sure, you may have some people that DM you, how much is it off the bat? Then you know that they're just price shopping, and it's up to you whether you want to get that client or not. But clients that you want to attract that aren't, budget conscious or tire kickers, then you're going to want to advertise away from really cheap deals, right? Maybe instead of a discount, you do a add-on, right? Like a full depth budgeting plan or something like that, or a freebie or a downloadable that's really resourceful for them. Then that's something you can do as well.
Do you have a success story you could share where a CRO started working with you and what shifted and what kind of results were achieved?
Yeah, great question. So I have a CRO working with in California. His name is Kevin, great guy. He is extremely great at organic social. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers. But his entire method was just organic and manually replying to people. We connected and he says, hey, I have a sales team of 4 and I really want to feed them. I really want to get them like busy. And so what can I do? And I said, well, that's a great question. We can implement a strategy to where we're introducing you to new people, right? Through your ads, but also retargeting them based on how they interact with those ads. And then those retargeted people can engage in conversations in your DMs. And I'm not saying that the beginner has to do this, but once you're at this level, it makes sense. You implement an AI chatbot in there to walk people through in a natural conversational way to self-sign up and getting signed up as a client. And then their sales team is busy with phone calls after that. Yeah. So once we did that, his team was like, what are you doing? We are slammed now. We used to have a lot of time to go grab a coffee and things like that. And now they're pretty back to back. I actually just talked to him today. He said that one of his reps had the best month they had ever this past month. So really excited for those results for him.
That's awesome. Well, I think we should switch gears.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm going to ask you some rapid questions and answer with the first thing that pops into your head, okay?
Sure.
What's your business superpower?
Client relations. I don't just launch an ad and say, see you later, here are some reports. I really love establishing a lot of my clients are now good friends.
What's your business kryptonite, meaning the area you had to work the hardest to improve?
Processes. Figuring out my processes. I am not great at that. But, you got to sit down and figure it out. Because what's in here, you need to document and have a process.
What drives and motivates you?
Freedom. Time freedom to do what I like, when I like, how I like, and taking care of the people that I love.
And what's your definition of success?
Happiness. Are you truly happy with what you're doing? Do you feel like you're making an impact? Are you proud of your work? Do you wake up excited every day?
And what's your biggest piece of advice for someone starting or running a credit repair business?
Great question. Be ready for the excitement of growing your business, the challenges that will come, and understand that every single problem you face, somebody has been there. Reach out, get guidance, get advice, maybe even a mentor. Those people will help you avoid long, drawn-out mistakes and catapult you to success.
And what's next for you? What's the next big goal?
Building my agency. So my agency is 2 years old now. I want to grow it to $1 million a year company. And I believe I'm on pace to do that within a few years.
Well, how can people watching this, how can they find you and reach out to you?
Yeah, great question. So they can go to my website, mastodonmarketing.com. I also prepared a Facebook ad guide that walks them step by step on how to do what we just covered. It's going to be crc.mastodonmarketing.com. I also have a YouTube channel. The credit repair focus one is going to be credit repair ads. Or if you want the agency focus one, it's going to be Mastodon Marketing. Just either one of those and you'll find me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time today, Alex. This was a lot of fun. And everyone out there watching, if you're finding value in the things we share on this podcast, click below to subscribe. Let's get to 100,000 followers. Also, give us a 5-star review or share the show and help us to change more lives. If you have a question or a comment, drop it down below because I read each and every one of them. I would love to hear from you, and I'll respond as soon as I can. And if you're ready to scale even faster, listen to my episode on recruiting top affiliates for your credit repair business. And if you'd like to start your very own credit repair business or learn how to earn extra income repairing credit for others, check out my brand new Start Repairing Credit Challenge. So sign up right now at startrepairingcredit.com and keep changing lives.